Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Happily Ever Caffeinated, the weekly wedding video series where we get stupid high on coffee and talk about weddings. I am your host, Jessie Stehlik, co-founder of FotoBoho, and I am here today with Lynn and Frank from CONCEPTBAIT, and we are going to be talking customization for your event. Let's do this. So how long have you guys been in Tampa? How did you get started with this whole concept of CONCEPTBAIT?
Well, we brought the company here from South Florida.
Oh, really?
This is our 15th anniversary.
Happy anniversary!
Thank you.
Are we throwing
Thank
a
you.
party or?
We're going to have a party.
Nice, excellent.
We got to top the 10th anniversary, so yeah.
Oh, excellent. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
So, have you always been weddings and social events, or was it? How did you get started?
It was corporate.
Corporate.
In the beginning.
Okay.
We still do that
Right.
heavily, but weddings just kind of evolved out of that because we were doing a production for corporate heads and branding things to their businesses, and it was, quite detailed in that they started noticing. We're CONCEPTBAIT. We get attention. So
Yes, you baited them in with your concepts.
Exactly. And that led to questions that, my daughter's getting married.
Right.
That was the first one.
Right, and then you led in from there.
Yes.
I remember when you first came on my radar, it was a million years ago now, it feels like, probably 2008, 2009. And at that time, all of the weddings, they all had the same chair covers over and over, like the little frilly, pretty, whatever. And suddenly, this weird thing happened where this bizarre new thing where you had a fitted, cool, like, what is that stretch kind of, not spandex, but some sort of, is it spandex?
We use a four-way stretch Italian lycra.
Way
So-
more complicated than spandex.
And much more expensive.
And much more expensive, and doesn't allude to thoughts of people walking on the beach.
Right.
So yeah, like it just was this beautiful, fitted, cool concept of chairs and stretched things over weddings, and suddenly it went from, okay, cool, it's a wedding, to holy cow, what is happening? And that's when you guys like really registered on my radar as cool people. And so it went from that into what all are you doing now?
Well, right now we're, again, our 15th anniversary, we're expanding into brand marketing outside, a whole other spin-off on another company called Franklin Visual.
Franklin Visual.
Yeah.
Get it? Get Frank, Lynn, Visual. Yeah.
It's all in the name.
Very nice. So, and that's up and running, or
That's
your
up and
launch
running.
is up and running? Wow.
Up and running, and the official launch will be at the end of the year, but it's up and running right
Very
now.
cool.
And I think one of the things that we wanted to reintroduce to the wedding market was more custom designs. No one wants a wedding that looked like Becky's or whatever. So
Nothing wrong with Becky's wedding.
no, nothing at all, other than it's already been done.
It's been there, yes, exactly. So that's a big question to me, because I feel like, there are a lot of places that have the same kind of setup that they do over and over and over, and that's totally fine. But with customization, I feel like you're really good at that. And what all, if you have a budget and you feel like you want something truly unique, what really goes into that process? Because I feel like it's fun to say, yes, I would like a fountain that when it goes up in the air, it looks like Danny DeVito's face. But I mean, what all goes into that building of a custom thing for a client?
Well, for the most part, it's all in timing. Of course, that's very important when you want to customize something. You have to make sure that you have the time to do it.
Right.
One of the other things that we've gotten really good at is, like Frank had said before, we've been in business for a little over 15 years, which has allowed us to create a massive inventory.
Yes.
So what we can do, even for the brides who don't have the luxury of the time, we can pull from that 15 years of inventory and still create something that's pretty custom.
Nice, nice. And then when a bride comes in and says, I want something crazy that you don't have, what's the process? Walk me through how that works.
Well, we talk about the concept, what it is that they're looking for, and we really delve into the interview process. We interview the family, we interview the bride, the groom. We take a look at pictures. Everybody's about Pinterest all of a sudden, and that's great because at least they're coming in with with images.
It's a good tool.
It
to
really
use,
is.
yes.
It really is.
It's a double-edged sword.
It's not the end all.
No. But we walk away from the initial consultation with an idea, a really concrete idea of the direction. And from there we go back and we start putting things on paper. We go through a team meeting, the design team, and we actually create the look,
That's
the
awesome.
feel, and the environment, what it's
Right.
going to be.
And you were saying about the timing. How long do these like custom projects usually take on average?
Well, it could be anywhere from 6 months to 4 months, down to 8 weeks.
Right. Wow.
I think one of the major components that a lot of people seem to miss is, once you have the concept, obviously we now have to take it to the board. We have to visit the venue to make sure that the logistics are possible.
Measurements and- yeah.
Right. Because, you may want a floating botanical over your table, but obviously to make that happen, you have to have
Ceiling height.
yeah, and you have to have the points to make that happen.
Right.
Which leads me to a particular wedding that Frank and myself did at the Vinoy. They do have a space there that's in the wide open, surrounded by columns, and that's exactly what this particular bride wanted.
Perfect.
She wanted botanicals, actually
Floating overhead.
tulips, upside down tulips over her table, which now
We had open air above us.
Oh my
and just to give
goodness.
you, a concept, we had to bring in aircraft cable, things, and then worry about making them not visible to the eye.
Yeah.
To be able to hang this over the table. So that was a challenge, but we got it done.
How long did it take you to set that whole thing up?
That was a 2-day process.
Yeah.
2
yeah.
days. And the Vinoy let you just like camp out in there. You had a cot in the
Absolutely.
back and
Absolutely. Well, I do have to toot our horn, and Frank and I have developed great relationships with a lot of the venues, and I do have to say that there are a few things that they will allow us to do.
that they won't let others.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry.
because we go in and we're self-contained. We don't mess with the integrity
Right.
of,
Right.
of the venues, and that's a big selling feature.
And I feel like a lot of there's so much more than just like walking in. Like you have to have liability insurance and all kinds of if it's a historical place, you
Mandatory.
can't hang things and stuff like that. And a lot of brides don't realize that there's there's one venue, I'm not going to call it out, but there's one historic venue that's beautiful, but they're not allowed to hang things from the walls. They're not allowed to put stuff up in different areas because of the integrity of the historical elements.
And we treat every venue like that.
Yeah.
Which you make a very good point. When you go into a historical place like that and say the bride wants a Winter Wonderland theme, then we pretty much have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
Which starts with draping out the entire venue. So you have a clean palette to start with. Sometimes it's a little sad because they are so beautiful, but Winter Wonderland is Winter Wonderland.
Exactly.
A lot of the time spent in this pre-production is basically mapping out the architectural part of the venue so that we know what we have to do to augment it to the design. So that a lot of clients don't really understand that going in.
The
that
research.
custom is really custom.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
go out there with your little tape
Yeah.
measure and get it down to the
Oh,
centimeter.
yeah. And then it goes into drawings and everything else, yeah.
You have like an architect on staff. Hi. Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
seriously, the events that we've worked with you guys have been some of the most stunning events that we've ever seen.
Thank you.
put
Thank
so
you.
much attention to detail.
Yes.
I feel like is your thing, where you can transform an area, and it is always a pleasure to work with you guys.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
we
you.
do have one saying that we always stick to: never let them see how it's done.
Yeah.
Never let them see you cry.
Right, exactly. But you know the other thing? We've always designed with a photographer in mind, because from wherever you are and you walk in,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about seeing
Angles.
anything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then we design for the guest experience. So if you're sitting at a table, square, round, whatever it is, you're going to look across from each other. You're going to see something that the others didn't see. And when you're leaving, that's part of the experience.
That's beautiful. You're like, oh, I
Continued.
didn't see that.
Exactly. Were you at the same party?
Right, right.
Yeah, that's how we design.
I love that because so many events that we shoot, it's funny because we actually, when we're going in there and we're trying to determine how we're going to shoot like the first dance or something like that, we're always looking for, okay, which one is the pretty background? Because it feels like a lot of people go in and say, okay, this is where everybody's mostly going to be looking. We'll just make that pretty and leave everything off. And so we've got trash cans over here and exit signs and things like that. All right, so that's the background we want. And so having that ability to walk around a dance floor and get multiple angles is revolutionary. So thank you for that. Thank you for thinking with the photographer.
It's always been like that.
We like to think of it as every seat is the best seat in the house.
Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are the best seat in the house. That doesn't make sense, but I'm keeping it.
Does to me.
Thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you.
coming out.
Thank
Seriously.
you. Thank you. It's
now-
been an honor, really.
Awesome, thank you.
Wait, what? Always question with the Q. Questions help us learn things new. Question marks are very cool, especially when you're in school. Always question when you try. You'll find who, what, where, when, why. Question marks are very fun. Let's break them down now one by one.
Mad Libs time.
Oh, no.
Okay, so I need some words from you guys.
Okay.
First word from you, a noun.
Ballroom.
Ballroom. All right, I need an adjective.
Impactful.
Impactful. Plural noun.
Partners.
Partners. I need 2 adjectives.
Stunning and beautiful.
Beautiful. And then I need a verb.
Enjoy.
All right, let's see what we've got here. So, if you thought this ballroom was impactful, ooh, yes, that's
We
good.
like
That
that.
works. That works a lot.
It works.
Make sure you share it with your partners who are planning their weddings. And if you are a stunning wedding coordinator and you think this video would help your brides, feel free to share it with your beautiful brides as well. We enjoy your support.
Oh, that turned
you
out
did
great.
good. Yes.